Hello and welcome back to the Raw Feeding Journal. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Robin. Today we're tackling a topic that comes up all the time, the misconceptions around raw feeding. Whether you're new to raw or you've been doing it for years, you've probably heard someone say it's unsafe, unbalanced, or just too expensive.
Exactly. And these myths can be major roadblocks, especially for people who are curious about raw feeding but feel overwhelmed by conflicting information. So today, we're going to debunk these myths one by one and help our listeners approach raw with confidence.
Let's start with one of the biggest myths. Raw feeding is unsafe.
This one is so common. You hear people say, "What about bacteria? Won't it make my dog sick?"
The truth is, dogs have highly acidic stomachs, much more acidic than ours. Their digestive systems are biologically designed to handle raw meat, bone, and even small amounts of bacteria. A healthy dog's stomach acid is powerful enough to destroy pathogens like salmonella.
And on top of that, commercial raw dog food in the UK is held to strict safety standards. Manufacturers must be DEFRA registered, which means their facilities are inspected and their products are tested regularly for bacteria.
Exactly. So as long as you're buying from a reputable source and following proper hygiene practices, like washing your hands, cleaning surfaces, and storing food correctly, raw feeding is incredibly safe.
The next myth we hear is that raw feeding is unbalanced or doesn't provide all the nutrients a dog needs.
This one comes up a lot, especially from people who are used to kibble, which is often marketed as complete and balanced.
The key here is understanding the difference between complete and complementary raw foods. Many commercial raw foods are labelled complete, meaning they meet all of your dog's nutritional needs according to established guidelines.
That's right. But even if you're feeding complementary raw, like an 80-10-10 mince, it's easy to balance your dog's diet by rotating proteins or adding supplements like omega-3s or small amounts of vegetable.
And let's not forget the evolutionary perspective. Dogs are descendants of wolves, and their natural diet is based on raw meat, bone, and offal. When you mimic that diet, you're actually feeding them what they're biologically designed to eat.
Exactly. Balance doesn't have to come from every single meal. It can be achieved over time.
Now here's a myth that stops a lot of people in their tracks. Raw feeding is too expensive.
This one depends on how you approach it. Yes, premium raw brands can be pricey, but there are plenty of ways to make raw feeding affordable. You can shop in bulk, look for deals, or even prepare some meals at home if you feel confident.
And when you compare the costs, you have to think long-term. Feeding raw often leads to fewer vet visits, healthier teeth, and better overall well-being. That can save you a lot of money down the line.
Plus, there are options for every budget. Whether you're feeding organic free-range meats or sticking to more affordable cuts, raw feeding can be tailored to your finances.
Another challenge raw feeders face is dealing with skeptical veterinarians. Many vets are wary of raw diets because they're trained to recommend commercial kibble.
That's true, but it's important to remember that you and your vet are on the same team. Start the conversation by focusing on your dog's health. Share any positive changes you've noticed, like improved coat condition, better digestion, or increased energy.
And if your vet raises concerns about nutritional balance, explain that you're feeding a complete or carefully planned diet from a reputable source. You can also share evidence from reliable studies that support raw feeding.
Another tip is to bring your vet into the process. Ask for their input on supplements or specific health conditions. This shows you're taking a responsible approach which can help ease their concerns.
At the end of the day, raw feeding isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about doing what's best for your dog.
Exactly. So, to recap, raw feeding is safe when done properly, balanced when planned correctly, and doesn't have to break the bank. And when it comes to vets, open communication is key.
We hope this episode has cleared up some of the confusion around raw feeding. Thanks for joining us on the Raw Feeding Journal.
See you next time.